Welcome back to the Boneyard Podcast, everybody. This is your host, Jared Shafit, along with my good friend, Artie Brower. Artie.
Yes, sir.
How we doing?
Good. We got the band is back together. We got the duo back. Missed you last week on the podcast, but the show goes on. But doing good, brother. Doing real good. Excited to be back here with you. And we got a jam-packed episode today, so let's get into it.
Yeah, for sure. We got a lot to talk about. A lot going on in the world of college sports right now. Everything. Pieces are falling. Conference is crumbling. The Pac-12 is the Pac-4. Maybe the American Pac. I don't know. The ACC may be crumbling. Teams are offering to play for free in the ACC. USF their fans are taking the top spot for being delusional from the Central Florida fans. Guys, what a week has it been in the world of college sports? Artie, how you doing, my friend? You doing good?
I'm doing good, brother. Cannot complain. Look, I'm off of work for the next 6 days, so I can't complain about that. Going down to Florida to go see Pops and go hang out with him. So I'm excited for that.
Love that. And remind me, what part of Florida does your dad live in?
So he's Ocala, so he's like an hour outside of Orlando, 2 hours from Daytona, hour and a half from Tampa. So he's really in a good spot to get to all the major areas outside of Miami. But Ocala, Florida, which is the horse capital of the world, they say. So
the horse?
Yeah, the horse capital of the world. Like there's more horses in Ocala, Florida per capita than any other place in the world.
I did not know that.
They have I think 15 to 20 horse farms out there. Like they just breed.
Are you gonna ride a horse while you're there?
Honestly, we talked about it, and I think we should, because that's like where they breed like all the horses that do like the Ryder Cup, or not the Ryder Cup, but the whatever that cup is called, the Breeders' Cup, I think, whatever it is, the Kentucky Derby, all those horse races, like they live in Ocala and they're farmed in Ocala, and like that's where they stay when they're not racing.
Wow.
Yeah.
I didn't know to see you. Artie, you're about the size of a jockey, so we need to put you on the back of one of those horses and see how fast you can go.
Hey, look. I was gonna say something. We're not
go ahead and say it. Tell the people.
No, I was just gonna say, the size of a jockey, but my third leg says otherwise. But that's all I'm gonna say.
Oh, jeez.
Starting off with a bang.
Right. Artie, do you have a number 57?
I do have a number 57. This is just something, honestly, I got this like 2 minutes ago. So we're just going to go off the cuff with this. But my number 57 is not the guy that you're thinking of. It's Clay Matthews. But it's not Clay Matthews Jr., the one who played for Green Bay. It's Clay Matthews Sr., the one who played from 1978 to 1996 with the Cleveland Browns. He was actually a 4-time Pro Bowler. Did not know that. Had 82.5 sacks in his career, 16 interceptions, almost 1,600 tackles. Phenomenal football player in his own right. Everybody knows Clay Matthews Jr., the guy with the long flow hair that played for Green Bay for like a decade. But Daddy did it first. So shout out to Clay Matthews Sr., number 57.
All right. That's a good one. I'm gonna go kind of off the wall here. I've done this a couple of times recently. I'm going Heinz 57. What better to put on a burger on a dog? We're in the dog days of summer, right? I've been singing we've been watching a lot of Mickey Mouse in this household lately. The hot dog, hot diggity dog.
Oh my God. Yeah. I've heard that enough times in my life to never want to hear that again.
Yeah, well, my daughter loves it, so we sing it. But yeah, Heinz 57. Now, Artie, let me ask you.
Mm-hmm.
You're a Chicago guy, right? You're wearing the Bears shirt on the podcast. I don't understand it.
You see MJ behind me too.
You got MJ. Great Chicago White Sox. Birmingham Barons. Let me ask you, let me ask you, Artie. How do you feel about ketchup on a hot dog?
I don't mind ketchup on a hot dog just because I was raised in the South. Like I am from Chicago, but I was raised in the South, so I was raised on ketchup on my hot dogs. But I will say there are certain regions where you should not be doing that. Like if you're in the Chicago region, or just honestly the Midwest in general, and honestly they don't mind you put ketchup on a hot dog, but like let's say you get a Chicago dog, right? Like you got to get it the way it comes. And then you can't put anything else on it. Like, don't put no sauerkraut, don't put no ketchup, don't put no whatever you want to. Don't do that. Just get the Chicago dog the way it comes, because that's being disrespectful when you add on to something that doesn't really need any add-ons. But if you just order like a hot dog with ketchup on it, nobody's gonna care about that.
Now, if you let's say that already we're hanging out, we're cooking out, we're in the backyard, and I'm grilling up some dogs. You have all of the condiments at your disposal. What is on your what's on your hot dog?
Ooh, honestly, look, I'm a Carolina dog all the way. Honestly, more so than the Chicago dog. That might be my favorite hot dog.
The Chicago dog's just got so much going on.
It's a salad on the hot dog. I think it's great. I think it's phenomenal. But it is a salad on top of a hot dog, if we're being honest.
Because what is it? Is it? It's relish. I know that for sure.
Yeah, it's relish, mustard, tomato sliced in half, like the two slices of tomato. You got the pepperoncini peppers in there, and then on the poppy seed bun, Vienna hot dog, of course, Vienna or Nathan's, either one to do. And I think that's it. And then onions. You got onions on there too.
All right. So what are you putting on your hot dog?
So chili, slaw, relish, onions, ketchup, and mustard.
Okay. See, I like to keep it basic, right? I'm not gonna go naked. I'm not doing that.
No, that's absurd.
If you eat a naked hot dog,
that's absurd.
If you eat a naked hot dog, let me tell you this: you're on some watch list.
There's a cognitive gap if you eat a naked hot dog. That's absurd.
If you eat a naked hot dog, you're probably a serial killer. I don't make the rules. That's just how it goes. But no, I'm all about the chili. Jared's famous hot dog chili, and trust me, it's delicious. I can send you a recipe.
I still haven't had this, by the way. I gotta have this famous hot dog chili.
It's like one of the only things I cook. I'll cook hot dog chili. I mean, it's nothing crazy. I think we've had this conversation before. But then, honestly, just give me some ketchup and mustard with some chili, like basic, like what you get at the ballpark, right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't need anything else. I don't need anything fancy. Now, next question. I love hot dogs.
You're great. They're honestly great. I don't eat them a lot, but when I do eat them, I'm like, this is very satisfying.
High in sodium. Doctor tells me, hey, Jared, cut down on the hot dogs. Let me ask you, how many hot dogs could you eat during a 9-inning baseball game?
During a 9-inning baseball game?
I'm gonna tell you my record after you tell me how many you think you could eat.
I can tell you how many I could eat and how many I would cut off at. Like my cutoff will be 3. Like I'm not eating more than 3. Like after 3 hot dogs, it's like, okay, I don't even care if I could eat more. Like I can't do any more. I'm just being a fat ass at this point. I can't do more than 3. But I could probably down 6. I could probably down 6 in a 9-inning game.
If you had to take a guess on how many I've eaten at a baseball game before, on all you can eat night.
All you can eat night. Whew.
How many hot dogs do you think I ate during a 9-inning ball game?
I'm gonna say 11.
Wow, right on the money.
It's 11.
11. Yeah, so
that's a lot, though. That's a lot of hot dogs.
And I also downed about 7 beers that night.
Jeez.
It was dollar beers and all you can eat night.
You walked there looking like a pregnant lady, Jared.
Had some chips. I eventually cut out the chili. I think about hot dog 4. I cut out the chili. I was just going mustard ketchup.
I don't know that the chili would help it go down easier. I feel like.
I mean, I don't know. You just put some mustard and ketchup on it, and
was this like a personal record? You were trying to see how much you could eat, or you were just
I was just trying to see like how many I could eat without like, and I could have probably got 12. I could have probably got 12 or 13, but I was just like, you know what, like this is not going to be good for anybody already. I don't want to add on to it. Artie, did you? While we're talking about food, we'll get into everything here in a second.
At some point, we'll talk about sports. But
did you know that the world record for eating a regulation size corn on the cob is 11 seconds?
Wow. 11
I tried
seconds.
to beat it. I tried to beat it.
No, when you say eat, like you don't mean it's like being sloppy and stuff. You mean like they actually like went bit by bit on and ate everything. Like it wasn't all over their shirt, all over the floor and stuff. That's easy to do. Like they actually ate every kernel on 11. The cob.
I mean, obviously you're gonna have some stuck to your face. I mean, when you're speed eating like that, you're not gonna get every single kernel. But yeah, 11 seconds. My personal record right now is 28 seconds.
So you're seriously trying to beat this?
I'm not actively like. It's not like I'm eating. It's not like I'm eating a corn cob every night, just trying to better my time. We had corn on the cob a couple weeks ago for dinner, and
you were just like, why the hell not?
I asked my wife to time me. It was just a spur of the moment thing. That's what happens. That might be the whitest thing I've done, other than #Drake. Is trying to eat a corn on the cob in less than 11 seconds. What really got me was the swallowing, having to swallow. Like I was like a chipmunk, just cheeks full of corn.
Just cheeks absolutely full. That's crazy. That's great. And this is what Jared Shafit is doing in his free time, folks.
I'm telling you, I need a second podcast called Dinner with Jared. I could have these conversations all night long. It's going to be a stand-up but sit-down comedy dinner show, Dinner with Jared, and we just talk about these kinds of things. These are discussions you have around the dinner table.
That's actually not a bad idea, Jared. That's really not a bad idea.
But it's a comedy show.
It's kind of like a spinoff of Hot Ones.
Yeah, kind of, yeah. And then Artie will have you on and see how Artie's the slowest eater in the world, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, I'm not even gonna lie. Yeah, I'm a sloth.
Just wait until you get married and have kids, Artie.
Oh, I know it's gonna pick up. I know I'm just gonna be wolfing it down.
When you have a kid,
yeah,
everybody eats fast. But all right, Artie, the Boneyard Podcast, proud members of the Variety Sports Podcast Network, Variety Sports Collegiate. I mean, we got the Saturday football show coming back this weekend. I think episode 2 of this season coming on this weekend. Check it out live on YouTube. Fat Boy Fadeaway. On the other side of the bench, I believe is another one. Lots of great podcasts to be had. Check them out. Lots of great stuff going on. Nice. Artie, let's dive into it. We got a lot to talk about. Enough about the food. Let's see. Anything else on the intro? No, I don't think so. Let's start. So Jim Szoke, I hope I'm pronouncing that right.
Yeah,
is the new interim voice of Pirate Nation. Artie, I'm going to be honest with you. I didn't listen last week. I listened to part of it while I was editing, but did y'all talk about the situation with Chris Edwards last week?
We did not touch on Chris Edwards last week. No, I know that's been a whole shit show, and I don't even really know all the details.
What?
We didn't touch it.
That was like an episode of Suits. I mean, the guy apparently look. I have nothing. I don't know the man who was supposed to come on the Boneyard Podcast last week.
Yeah,
we had him scheduled to come on the podcast like the day news broke. Like we were gonna have him. And I don't know if news came out. I thought it was weird. Artie, when we asked for him originally, Typically, it's like, yeah, we'll get something scheduled. How's this date? Good. Okay, it's scheduled. Put it on the calendar. We get somebody. I thought it was weird when we asked the day he was hired. Hey, can we get him on the podcast? And it was kind of like, yeah, but we got to do like some other like internal things. It's not signed on the dotted line. We've just made the announcement. I thought that was really strange. So I don't know. Play fly or fly play or whatever. Company that manages ECU's broadcasting rights and all of that. Now, I don't know, they kind of dropped the ball. ECU dropped the ball. Shitty situation all around. Chris Edwards apparently lied on his resume about graduating from ECU.
That's crazy.
I mean,
how did you not think that information was going to be found? You work, or you're trying to work for the university that you claim you graduated from. How did you think this information was not going to come to light?
Artie, I've been watching Suits lately, and I was like, this is an episode of Suits.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
I don't know. I was like, what in the world is going on? Like, what world are we living in where, I mean, I get it. The guy has like a couple credits left that he needs to actually graduate. But you can't, like, if you're getting a job, had he not put that, I think he would still be the voice of Pirate Nation.
Yeah.
And who knows? Maybe he finishes his degree this year. Maybe he has some time left. I think his schedule's opened up a little bit over the last couple of weeks, and maybe he can finish out his degree, and he'll be the next voice of Pirate Nation. Maybe Jim Szoke. I don't know if I'm pronouncing it right. I think we're gonna try to have him on next week on the podcast. He's busy with their training camp right now. So yeah, I mean, but all in all, what a weird situation. Like, really weird situation with Chris Edwards. Hate it for him. I'm sure he's a great guy.
Right.
Just goes to show, don't lie on your resume. If anybody's listening, don't lie on your resume. But
if you're gonna lie about graduating from a school, don't apply to that same school that you're lying about graduating from. That's all.
Yeah. And I mean, I was kind of surprised with the announcement of the interim. I know they had to get it done, but I know that there were some quality candidates. I talked to a couple of them. That I mean, honestly, I thought they had a good shot at being next voice of Pirate Nation. One of them, I mean, be honest with you, Artie, good friend of the podcast. So, oh well, maybe next year we'll see what happens. I mean, this is a 1-year deal as far as I know. And I guess they're back to the drawing board.
Yeah.
But let's talk basketball first, and then we'll get into like all the craziness that's going on in college sports. The non-conference schedule, Artie.
Yeah.
You see the non-conference schedule dropped.
Took a look at it earlier. Not overwhelming, but
I mean, the fact that you got some decent schools on here. I mean,
yeah.
Of course, you got South Carolina, you got Florida, right? You got Campbell's, that usually a pretty decent team. UNCW, that's always that's become kind of a rivalry.
Right.
Georgia Southern and Kennesaw State. I mean, those aren't somebody to like sneeze at, right? I mean, and then you have your usuals. You got a Division II program in Ferrum coming in to start the season. You got Northeastern and USC Upstate, schools like that. Maryland Eastern Shore, and then Delaware State, East Tennessee State to close out the non-conference portion of the schedule. I mean, you've got a couple games there. UNCW, South Carolina, and Florida are probably the 3 toughest non-conference games.
Those are scariest matchups, non-conference.
And
they're really not scared.
They aren't. And what did we beat South? Was last year the year we beat South Carolina?
Yeah, we beat South Carolina last year. Yeah.
I mean, why not again? Why not again? I really like the direction Coach Schwartz has this team going. Artie, just looking at this schedule, what would you put ECU's non-conference record at come the new year?
I mean, look, there's a lot of W's on here to me. If we're making that next leap forward and starting to be the program that beats the teams that they're supposed to beat, then to me, I see a lot of W's on here. I mean, Ferrum, obviously, that should be a W. Campbell, maybe a close game, maybe a decent matchup, but I don't really think they're going to be too hard to beat. USC Upstate, that should be a W. Northeastern should be a W. I think Georgia Southern and Kennesaw State should both be W's. We might hiccup and lose one of those. I'll go ahead and say I don't know which one we'll lose to. We'll probably no one else. We'll probably lose to one of those teams. So that's what 5-1 after those. George Mason, 7-1. UNCW, 8-1. Maryland Eastern Shore better be a W, 9-1. We're gonna drop one to South Carolina and Florida. I do think, I think we absolutely win one of those two. I do. I don't know if it's going to be South Carolina again or Florida, but I do think we grab one of those. So now we're sitting at 10-2 after coming out of those two games. And then you got Delaware State and East Tennessee State. So, I mean, truthfully, 12-2 is not really out of the norm, in my opinion. If you're beating the non-conference opponents that you should be beating, and these teams, none of these teams are scary. Even your South Carolina and your Florida. I mean, these are not SEC heavyweights in basketball, at least not at the moment. Florida used to be an SEC heavyweight. They're not right now. So, 12-2 honestly is realistic.
I mean, Artie, I hate to break it to you, but there's 13 games here.
You said what?
I said I hate to break it to you, but there's 13 games here. That's that ECU education. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
11-2. Excuse me.
Okay.
11-2.
11-2. Okay. I mean, if we're 11-2, big dance. I mean, none of these teams blow your socks off. I don't think anybody in conference. I mean, of course, Florida Atlantic is going to be good. They return a lot of guys that went to the Final Four last year. The March Madness last year was it lived up to its name, right? Like March Madness was insane. All right, I'm going to say 10-3. I think I could see us losing to either Campbell or Georgia Southern, and then maybe if we win one of the games against South Carolina or Florida, we may lose that game against UNCW. Just my opinion. 10-3, and I'll happily take it.
Yeah, you'll take that. You'll take it. I mean, I say if we come out of that stretch, sitting at like 7-6 or 8-5, I mean that's terrible when you look at the opponents. So I mean, yeah, you'll take 10-3 or 11-2. I think that's where we should be coming out of that stretch.
Yeah, as long as you don't lose to a team like you did last year when you lost to South Carolina State, who was
right. But that's like the next step in this program. Like you're beating
the worst
teams that you're
team in
supposed
college
to.
Basketball last year.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, this is a step in the right direction with scheduling, though. I mean, you've got teams that at least I've heard of all of these schools. There's times where we play teams and I'm like, who the hell is that? So kudos to John Gilbert and Mike Schwartz for getting this schedule done. Anything else on basketball?
Let me ask you this, Jared.
Yeah.
When's the last time you heard of Maryland Eastern Shore?
I feel like
No, no, you haven't.
didn't they make the big dance a couple years ago?
You talking about UMBC?
No, Maryland Eastern Shore.
Because I've never heard of Maryland Eastern Shore. The rest of them I'll give you. I've heard the rest of them.
They're in, I believe they're in the MEAC.
Maryland Eastern Shore? They're not in the MEAC. There's no way they're in the MEAC.
Okay, I mean, pretty sure finished 4th in the Mid-Eastern last year.
In the MEAC conference?
Yeah.
Wow.
I've
never heard
Coppin
of that.
State, Delaware State, NC Central, Morgan State, Howard. So, yeah, I've seen them elsewhere too. I'm trying to think like.
It's okay, Jay. You don't have to try that hard. Nobody cares about Maryland Eastern Shore. It's we can keep.
I'm trying to remember like what they made the tournament last year, Artie.
Well, good for them, and they didn't do shit. So
okay, maybe not. Maybe they didn't make it. I don't know. I just know I've heard of them. The Hawks. All right, Artie. Let's talk polls. The thing we love the most, the preseason poll, because we rank teams higher than what they should be, and then we rank other teams lower than they should be, all because of that. I don't know why we do it. I hear people say, "Oh, we do it because we have to have a baseline." Why? Why do we have to have a baseline? Right? I mean, we're basing it off of last year's performance, but if that was the case, Lane, who finished in the top 6, top 7 in the country, why are they ranked 22nd, 23rd? Excuse me, in the coaches poll.
But Jerry, let me ask you this: what's the difference between having a week 0 preseason poll or week 1? I mean, the same teams are going to be in the top 25 after week 1 anyway, so it's not like it's going to be
exactly like why do we rank teams, Artie? And then we see every single year somebody like Florida or Florida State or an LSU or somebody gets ranked and they're ranked in the top 10 preseason, and then they start the season 2-2, and they're still ranked in the top 20 because preseason they ranked them in the top 10. Why? Yeah. Why are we doing this?
I get what you're saying.
I'll never understand, because I mean then you're just setting them up. I mean, NC State last year, I said it. I can see it from a mile away. NC State was not a top 25 team. They nearly lost to ECU week 1, and I mean they didn't really drop. I mean they went 7-6 last year, and I mean now they're receiving votes to be in the top 25. Carolina, what did Carolina do last year? Yeah, I get it. You supposedly have the number 1 quarterback in the country, but I don't know. I'll never understand why we have a preseason ranking and why it dictates the rest. Because when you do that, what you do is you're setting up a strict schedule that doesn't you're making it way you're waiting the early season way too much and saying, okay, well, before the games are even played, here's what we think. And then you could be wrong, but just because you ranked it that way, Texas A&M was like a top 10 team last year in the preseason.
Well, yeah, but the one caveat to that is that the good teams tend to figure themselves out, and the bad teams aren't supposed to be there, tend to figure themselves out towards the end. Like towards the end, you would pretty much have a legitimate top 25 the way you're supposed to have it. Like it works its way out. It really does. But, to be honest, I mean, Texas A&M, yeah, they were a top 10 last year, and then see where they finished. I mean, they weren't even a top 50 or top 75 school at the end of the season. So
here's what I think. If you're going to do it, rank them 1 through 30, 131 or 132, whatever number we're at now.
I nobody's got time to do all that.
Why not? Why not?
Nobody's got time to do it. I mean, well, they actually do that on ESPN. They actually do have a full ranking of all 131 FBS schools.
Like there's got to be some kind of metric that we could build. There's got to be some formula that we could build and say, okay, this. If you beat a team, say Alabama, who does Alabama play week 1? They don't play Texas week 1. They play Texas, I think, week 2.
But if we're being honest, I mean, Jared, the top 25 is really just for clout at this point. The only thing that matters is top 4. And until the playoff expands, the only thing you care about is being a top 4 team. The whole top 25 thing is just, to say, hey, I'm ranked 18. Look at my school. Yay. All that's pomp and circumstance. None of that shit matters. Like, you're trying to be a top 4 team, get to the playoff, win a natty. Like, that's the important thing here. So the only thing with the top 25 is that you're getting, some notoriety, you're getting some publicity, you get to go back and brag to the boys or whatever. But if you're not a top 4 team, then what are we talking about anyway? So,
I mean, Alabama, who's going to probably be considered to have one of the toughest strengths of schedule, starts the season off with Middle Tennessee State at home. Give them credit. They're going to play South Florida, I believe, at South Florida. Yeah.
You said it's Alabama?
Alabama at South Florida. How in the world did South Florida get that?
Yeah, how'd they pull that off?
Alabama doesn't play on the road. What's that?
There's going to be like 15 people there. How the hell?
No. It's going to be filled to the gills with Alabama fans.
There's
tons of Alabama fans in Florida.
Yeah, I'll give you that. I'll give you that.
Yeah. All right. Well, anyways, Michigan, ECU starts the season on the road at Michigan. Michigan's ranked number 2 preseason. Tulane voted 23rd. UTSA received 59 votes. SMU receives 8, and for whatever reason, Memphis received 1. I'm guessing Memphis was the one that voted.
That's funny.
Artie, thoughts? I don't know. I still don't like the preseason.
I mean, look. Michigan is every bit a top 4 team in the country. Like they're like, unless they just have some sort of disaster, like this is the best team that Jim Harbaugh has ever had. This is a team that should win the Big Ten again. I mean, Ohio State's still going to be there, going to get into trouble. Penn State's good too. But this is absolutely like Michigan is every bit the second best team in the country after your 2-time defending national champion Georgia Bulldogs. So I mean that's fair. Tulane being 23rd, it's exactly where I thought they would be, somewhere between 21 and 24. It's exactly where I thought they would be.
But why? They were a top 10 team last year. Why are they? And they didn't really lose anything.
They weren't going to be. They weren't going to give Tulane preseason top 15. You're dreaming if you thought that was going to happen. That wasn't going to happen.
But why? Like you give all these other teams rankings and for no really reason, and
I
didn't lose anything
off of the success that they had last year. But this is about this year, right? So like them being in the top 5 is the respect of you beating a USC in the Cotton Bowl and you winning 10+ games. So we respect the fact that you have your coach returning and you have a whole bunch of other players returning, and you could be something good. But Tulane could absolutely be an 8 or 9 win team. It's not, we're not going to guarantee that Tulane's just going to win the conference again and be an 11 win ball club.
Yeah, but you could say the same about UNC. I mean, what has UNC done? Who do they play?
Because if we're being honest, I mean, Tulane's season last year, that was a magical season. It's hard to back up another magical season. How do you get better than what they did last year? How do you get better than a Cotton Bowl victory over USC? Like, how does Tulane top what they did last year? So it's like, unless they're competing for a national championship, then you don't top what they did last year.
But it makes it harder for them to compete for a national championship, Artie.
You said what?
I'm saying it makes it harder for them to compete for a national championship.
Well, you look, if they prove everybody
because they're starting so far back. When last year they were a top 10 team in the country. If that's the case, why don't we just say, okay, this is the rankings going into next year?
But this is why you need an expanded playoff.
Like, I'll never understand why a school like Tulane, who finished top 10, didn't lose any key pieces, drops so far down.
But then here's the thing, though. What happens when, okay, we're not respecting Tulane, and then they go out and they lose 4 games this season, and they go 8-4? Like,
okay,
are we going to say
that happens all the time? That happens all the time. A team. Let's pull up. I don't have it in front of me. So, AP preseason.
And then also, 25. Does Tulane have a very hard? Did we go through Tulane's schedule? It's kind of a cupcake schedule, isn't it?
I mean, I believe they've got to play UTSA and SMU. Granted, I think they get them all at home.
How many top 25 teams are they playing? Or how many true road games do they have?
So Tulane finished 9th.
In the AP last year.
Yep.
Which again is based off of their performance from last season. And being ranked 23rd to start the season, I don't think it's terrible for Tulane. Obviously, yeah, they have to do great things and run the table to probably get to where they would want to get to again this season. But who's to say that Tulane's going to repeat the success they had last year? I don't see them repeating the success they had last year. I think being ranked at 23 is fair for Tulane.
What's Michigan going to be ranked when ECU goes in there and stops the throat?
Hey, look, if ECU can go up there and be, the second G5 school from North Carolina to go into Ann Arbor and pull it off, all I can do is smile and wave and keep it moving. Like that would be crazy. It's not gonna happen, but that would be crazy.
Okay. Has the AP poll come out yet? I don't think. Maybe it hasn't. All right, Artie. Let's move along. Let's talk conference realignment. So I know y'all touched on it a little bit last week, but I want to give my input. Okay. So Arizona State, and Utah announced they're joining the Big 12, right? Am I missing one? And then Oregon and Washington are joining the Big 10, leaving 4 schools: Cal, Stanford, Oregon State, and Washington State. With that being said, I know that the ACC vetted those 4 schools, and it came out to say that was going to be a no-go. They also vetted SMU. That was going to be a no-go. And they decided to stay where they're at. So that really leaves a couple of options. the Pac could be trying to go after the top American Athletic Conference schools. But, I mean, what school in the American has like all of the bargaining power right now, I believe. They can say, hey, we have a TV deal. You don't. Nobody wanted to be a part of your conference. You couldn't get a TV deal, and you're an autonomy conference. You're a Power 5 conference. You couldn't even really get the TV deal. Why don't you come join us instead of us joining you? There's also talks about the Mountain West Conference and Pac-12 merging. But the issue there is the Mountain West, I believe it's a $17 million buyout per year if teams want to leave the Mountain West and go into the Pac-12. So it would have to be the Pac-12 going to the Mountain West because nobody's going to pay that. No one. I don't care. Boise State, San Diego State, UNLV, nobody's paying that. Air Force, nobody's paying that. So, the Pac-4. Hey, here's the American right here. Americans, according to them, who knows? Maybe Stanford and Cal end up somewhere else. Okay. Out of the 4 schools that are in the Pac, those are the 2 I care the least about. Oregon State and Washington State are the 2 that ECU really need to go, or the American really needs to go after. And if those other 2 decide, hey, we're just going to go independent for a while, so be it. But they don't get to claim the Notre Dame status where they basically get to claim Power 5. Because they're not.
But why those 2 and not Stanford and Cal?
Because Stanford and Cal really don't give a shit. They don't care. Their fan base does not care, Artie. Their fan base, hey, they're good at a couple of things. I mean, they're good at football occasionally, right? They lost. I mean, their head coach retired. Shout out David Shaw, Trip Daddy. The real ones know. No, but like they're an academic school, and granted, Rice, Tulane, those are great. Even USF, great academic institutions. Oregon State and Washington State have rabid fan bases and can back it up with winning seasons and good football programs. They're also good in other sports. So
they're the same as Stanford and Cal when it comes to Oregon State. Just got good at football. They just got good at football last year. Literally, they just got good at football. They've always sucked. Always. And now we want to talk about Oregon State being a good football. They're not a good football program. They just got good.
Culture, Artie.
It's not a historic football program.
It's all about the culture.
And neither is Washington State.
But we're not just talking about
you wouldn't want to add all 4. If we can add all 4, you would just want Washington State.
If we can add all 4, great. But if we can only add 2, I'm adding Washington State and Oregon State all day.
Okay.
Stanford and Cal are just the wine and cheese crowd. That's all they are.
But you get the California market.
All right. Well, in 2 years, go after San Diego State.
I mean, okay. Okay.
In 2 years, when it's easier for the Mountain West teams to buy out, because I believe their TV contract ends in 2026. Bring in San Diego State, Boise State, Colorado State, Air Force. Hell, even if you want to, bring in Utah State.
I mean, I get Oregon State from a baseball situation. Baseball, I mean, that's a great addition. But outside of that, I mean, they're not.
And so is Stanford.
And Stanford is a phenomenal addition in baseball. But like we're acting like Washington State and Oregon State are like going to be really like improving our football conference. They're not really.
But they're doing more than Cal.
Yeah.
Cal hasn't been good in 15 years.
Yeah.
They haven't been good in 15 years. So, I mean, Washington State, I don't know, they just fit the mold a little bit better. And I think that they want to be in the American. I don't think Cal and Stanford want to be in the American.
No, they probably
But I
don't.
think
Well, I can
fan
probably
bases-
Stanford doesn't. Stanford will go independent before they join the American.
Right. Cal's just happy to be there.
Probably.
So, but Washington State and Oregon State have good fan bases. And I don't know. I mean, I would stay up for a Washington State, Oregon State game before I would stay up for a Stanford Cal game. That's just one.
I'll agree with you on that one. Yeah, I'll agree with you on that. That Washington State, Oregon State is a better matchup that you want to watch over Stanford Cal. Yes.
Yeah, I mean, I just think that culturally, those are two better fits. Look,
But-
if we bring in Stanford and Cal, those are two huge brands.
Exactly.
But the brands aren't what they're not the athletic brands that you would think of. Right?
But you still
and
want
to me-
more recognition.
Yeah,
No
but
matter how
I
you
mean,
get it, you still want it. I mean, if you
I'll take the dub over Stanford and Cal. If ECU's having to play both of them every year or every couple of years, I'll take those dubs. Book it. But I would like to see Oregon State and Washington State. And in 2026, add some of those Mountain West teams. Why not? And what's the Pac-12 going to do? They don't have anybody. And if the American schools just say, you know what, we're going to stay together on this, you're going to at least get a couple of them. This is the best I've felt about conference realignment in a long time.
Let me ask you this, because there are other teams in this conference right now that are going to get calls. An SMU, a Memphis, a South Florida, a Tulane. Like, they're going to get calls from a Big 12. Like, they're going to maybe an ACC. Like, you think they actually stay in the American if they get those calls?
I think if one, I don't see the ACC fully staying together. I think what we're seeing happen in the Pac-12 is going to happen in the ACC sooner rather than later.
I don't know.
Florida State wants out. Florida State and Clemson want out.
They can leave, and the ACC can still be legitimate. Now, if you start losing your Miami and your Clemsons and your Dukes and Carolinas, like,
what has Miami done for the ACC?
It's still brand recognition. It's still brand.
Okay.
Everybody's still talking about the U. Even though they suck, they still talking about the U.
All right. Already, Florida State leaves, Clemson leaves, Miami leaves.
Mm-hmm.
Carolina and Duke possibly leave.
Well, then you have a dead conference.
You have a dead conference.
Yeah, then you have a dead conference.
And Miami, Florida State, and Clemson go to the SEC. I think Carolina and Duke try to get into the Big Ten.
Yeah, they're Big Ten. If they leave the ACC, they're only going to go to the Big Ten.
And then, do you really want ECU joining an ACC where the best school in that conference is NC State?
But I really feel like, and maybe Florida State is just talking the talk, because I feel like the ACC.
I don't think they are. They've been trying for 2 years. They said they've been going through all the legal documents for 2 years, and they're willing to pay the like $200-some million to get out of the conference.
It was like $335 million.
Right. It goes through 2031. So, and the ACC voted yesterday or decided yesterday not to invite SMU. What has Tulane done? They've had one good season.
They're not. Yeah, I mean,
otherwise, for the past 2 decades, they've been mid. They've been mid. Memphis, okay, they have basketball. Other than that, pretty mid. All right, USF has won one FBS game in like the last 2 years.
Yeah,
and they're talking, oh, we're going to the ACC. Bullshit. Get out of here with that.
You're not the one thing that all those
we don't know what's in the American.
They have legitimate markets though, and they can turn around like that. If they really wanted to, they could turn their programs around in a heartbeat because of the markets that they're in. They could.
They've been terrible in all sports for the last 3 or 4 years. Anything other than bringing Tampa. Okay, you got Tampa. They still don't have a fan base. Nobody cares about USF except for the 3 people that are replying to everything about realignment. It's the same 3 people, and they're borderline insane because it's not happening. I can see Memphis. If all those schools leave and they bring in Memphis and bring in USF and bring in Tulane, I'd be hard-pressed to see them bring in anybody else other than ECU because North Carolina is the ACC.
I'm just saying this, though. I think your top-heavy schools in the American are not loyal to the American. There's no loyalty to the American. Like, if they can lead, they're going to lead. So.
Well, yeah. But if, let's say you get Stanford, Cal, Washington State, Oregon State, and you've got a deal in place to bring in Boise State, San Diego State, Colorado State, and Air Force in 3 years. Okay? Let's say you have that deal in place. ESPN, then what ESPN has gotten all 4 time zones from the American. Right? They're gonna pay a pretty penny for that. You could be looking at each school getting $17 million a year for that. What the American then needs to do, all right, Rice, North Texas, Florida Atlantic, peace.
Go to the Fun Belt.
Go back to Conference USA.
Damn,
you might keep. I don't know. and then you got Sun Belt fans that think that they're gonna take American Conference teams. Like, what are you talking about?
They got some good schools though, man. Like legitimate though. Coastal's got a chance to get some calls if they stay consistent. App's got some chance to get some calls if they stay consistent. They got some good teams, Jared. Don't be naive. Don't be ignorant. They got some good programs.
They got good programs, but they don't have it.
ECU has it?
They have a bigger brand. They got a bigger fan base. They compete.
I think that's the. I mean, you could really go out on the streets and ask, like, who's got the bigger fan base in 2023, ECU or App nationwide? Like, I feel like
ECU,
you think
by a
nationally
landslide.
has a
landslide.
brand?
Yes, by a landslide.
Okay. Because you do know what the Ann Arbor win did for App nationally for their brand.
Okay.
It fast-tracked them like 30 years.
Cool. But still, there is a bigger alumni base for East Carolina than App. Those fans love ECU. App fans only come around when they're winning. ECU, even when they're losing, was a top 4 team in attendance in the American Athletic Conference.
Well,
top 5 team, top 10 team in attendance in the group of 5. Artie,
we were at those games, Jared. We know that's tickets sold.
But Artie, you go back and look. You look at some of the biggest ECU and Tulane last year led the group of 5 in TV viewership.
Yep.
ECU and Tulane outplayed Texas A&M and Carolina. But ECU and Tulane were leaps and bounds above all of them. ECU had the highest watched group of 5 bowl game last year and beat a lot of Power 5 bowl games. A lot of them. ECU brings eyeballs. Whether they like to admit it, maybe Greenville isn't the biggest metropolis, but last time I checked, neither is Starkville, Mississippi.
Give you that. Or Gainesville, Florida. Or Tuscaloosa, Alabama.
Or State College, Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
Or Blacksburg, Virginia. Or Charlottesville, Virginia. Or Morgantown, West Virginia. I'm sorry. When we start looking at media market size, and ECU pulls all of Eastern North Carolina and pulls the Tidewater portion of Virginia and can claim a decent chunk of the Raleigh market, the Charlotte market, and the DC market. Because the alumni are there. The alumni are in New York City. They're in Philadelphia.
They're definitely in Jersey. You'd be surprised how many alumni we got in Jersey.
That's true. So that's what I'm saying. Is when you step outside the box and stop looking at it from just looking at Greenville, and you look at what ECU actually brings, they bring eyeballs and they bring passion and they bring everything that you want. ECU fits the mold of the ACC, and honestly, if you could take us back 30 years and they would fit the mold of the SEC back then and would have grown into a great SEC program.
So let me ask you this, Jared. Perfect scenario: ECU, Houston, and the staff. They run off, a bunch of wins. They're phenomenal. They're competing for conference championships. Everything is going the way we want it to go. What's the perfect scenario? What's the conference that we're jumping to? Because obviously we're not saying the American. So what's the conference that we're jumping to in the perfect scenario?
In my opinion, the perfect conference that you're jumping to is you and Memphis go to the Big 12.
I would agree.
I think the ACC is going to be dead soon. I think the ACC is going to be in the same boat where they're leaning on Wake Forest, Boston College, Georgia Tech, Syracuse, and Pitt to lead them. And that's just not sustainable. So I do think that if ECU and Memphis, Tulane, and SMU, those are your 4 top schools.
Yeah.
And I think they're the next in line to get picked. It's going to happen eventually. And when that happens, when ECU is in a Power 5 conference, we're going to throw a parade. We're going to, hey, it finally happened for us. Because Lord knows we should have been there decades ago. We should have been there. But for whatever reason, the cards have been stacked against us since day one.
And
Day one. Artie. People say, oh, well, ECU has a chip on their shoulder. Damn right we do. You bet your ass we do. We have a chip on our shoulders. Because nothing has been given to us. Like that school in Chapel Hill or that school in Raleigh, nothing has been given to us. They've been handed everything on a silver platter with a silver spoon in their mouth. I don't care. I don't care. They've done everything in their power to keep us down. If we stand right back up and we punch them right back in the mouth.
So, Artie,
it's going to happen.
Preach, preacher.
It's going to happen. Oh, my God. No, it's going to happen. And when it does, the real ones who stayed, the real ones who don't change their team come basketball season, those are going to be the real ones. And they're going to feel damn good. We're going to look in the eyes of those NC State fans and those Carolina fans, and we're going to say, now we've got the funding y'all have always had. We've done more with less. We've done more with less than anybody else. It's about damn time something goes our way. And if that means Oregon State, Washington State, Stanford, and Cal join the American, so be it. That's great. And we stay there. We're a Power 5 conference, probably a Power 4 conference once the ACC dissolves. And guess what? We've got a seat at the table. And that's a conference that I damn well believe that ECU can win in a lot of sports, not just baseball. So they can win it in football. And keep Mike Schwartz and staff. You're looking at a decent run in basketball very soon. ECU's a sleeping giant. Don't let us wake up. Don't let us wake up. All right, Artie. I'm off my soapbox.
Breathe.
I'm breathing. I feel fantastic, Artie. I just want, for once, credit to be given where credit is due, and it's due in Greenville, North Carolina. It's due in the eastern part of North Carolina.
That comes with us handling business the way we need to as well. And
it does.
Like you said, ain't nothing given to us, so that comes with us handling our business.
Between the North Carolina legislature and piss poor leadership at the university level, and a few bad decisions along the way, ECU has always been kept down. But no more. No more. We got the right leadership. We got the right leadership in place now. Can't deny us.
I love it.
Can't deny us. All right. Okay, Artie. Let's see. Let's talk about. Sorry, we're going kind of long, longer than we thought we would. Let's do the quarterback preview. Mason Garcia, he's the guy, right? Seems like he's the guy. Everybody knows he's the guy.
Yeah.
Mason Garcia, been waiting in the wings for Holden Ahlers to finally graduate and head on to better places. Seattle, Washington being that place. He was the highest rated recruit in ECU history until ECU freshman Antoine Jackson came along. He played a game in 2020 due to COVID. He started against Navy, passed for 104 yards, 10 of 20 on completions. Also rushed for 63 yards and a touchdown, 15 carries. Scored first career rushing touchdown, 3 yards against the Midshipmen in 2020. Alex Flynn, he's pushed Mason a little bit, but, I mean, what we're hearing from camp is Mason's everything we expected him to be.
Good.
I think Alex is going to be the backup, and then Raheem Jeter. Go ahead.
No, I was going to say Flynn should be pushing him to the point where he's like staying on his A game, right? Like, where Mason is like, oh, okay, like this guy is just going to show up to practice and just know that he's the number 2. He should be pushing him enough for Mason's like, okay, well, let me show you why I'm the number 1. I'm going to stay the number 1. So that's good to hear. But we all know, Garcia is the guy. He's the guy. He's going to have to be the guy. If Garcia is not the guy, then we are in deep, muddy trouble. So
I think his play is probably the biggest question mark for ECU. And he's unproven. If we get what we expect to get from Mason Garcia, we're going to be having these writers, these national pundits who've been saying, oh, ECU is going to go 5-7. They're going to be crawling back and saying, wow, what a Cinderella team. And then if Mason Garcia is the guy that you think he is, with the running backs that we have in Marlon Gunn and Rajay Harris, I mean, along with, yeah, you lost your two top wide receivers from last year, but hey, next man up. And there's still plenty of talent in that wide receiver room. If Mason Garcia is exactly what we thought he was, we're going to be A-okay. And ECU could very well win 8 or 9 games this year. So
I would agree with that. And that's the best case scenario too. But if he's everything that he was projected to be when he came in, then yeah, this should be an 8 to 9 win ball club. Yeah.
And then you build on that. You go from one 8-win season to another 8-win season, and guess what? It snowballs. And then the next year, you rattle off 10 wins. Guess what? He's got another year after that. Yep. So you talk about Mason Garcia could be the one that finally gets ECU over the hump. And not to mention, you have Raheem Jeter, true freshman.
Yeah.
Who had offers from Auburn and Georgia and Kentucky and Memphis and Missouri and Virginia Tech. And Alex Flynn, he's a redshirt junior. He's got, 2 more years left? He'll be a backup. He'll get his degree. And in 2 years, Raheem Jeter will be the backup. And then it's time for him to take over. Guess what? He's supposed to be just as good. He's a stud too. And he loves being a Pirate. I know that for sure. I've talked to him a couple of times. He loves being a Pirate. So I like where ECU's at in the quarterback room, Artie.
No, I honestly, I love our quarterback room. And again, if it lives up to the potential that we think it can, obviously, no Flynn, and this is no shot at Flynn, but we're really looking at 2 guys. Garcia being the guy now, and then we're grooming Raheem Jeter to be his, heir apparent. Much like it was with Holton and Garcia, now it's Garcia and Jeter. That's kind of the 2 that we're looking at as far as the right now and the future. And it looks very, very, very promising. Hopefully they can put it all together. And I like the fact that our non-conference to start the season is real daunting. Not just Michigan, but Marshall and App. I like the fact that he's going to be put into the fire early. Here you go. Good competition to great competition off the rip. Let's see what you got. I like that. No training wheels, no baby steps. You've been in the program long enough. Let's go ahead and see what you got. So I'm very, very excited. I think this quarterback room is going to be great. I do think the O-line and the run game is going to play a huge factor in the first couple of weeks, just for Garcia to go ahead and get his footing and get comfortable being out there every single snap as a starter. But it's a promising room, to say the least. It is a promising room.
Yeah, everybody looks at this as the detriment to ECU. Oh, you don't have Hole Nailers. Hole Nailers built a great culture in this room. And Mason Garcia has learned under him for the last 3 years. And now it's Garcia's time. So give it to me. I think he has all of the intangibles. Can he put it together on the field? He's gotten his act together since coming to ECU. It sounds like he's done great in the classroom. And yeah, I mean, it's all you could ask for. And we may be looking at the end of the season and being like, we told you so. And everybody's gonna be like, where did this kid from East Carolina come from? And the fact that he hasn't transferred yet, I like the idea that I don't think he's gonna do it, even if he pops off this year.
Right.
So, Artie, anything else on the quarterbacks?
No, I mean, when we get closer to actual start of the season, we're gonna talk more. But no, I think we're good.
We're gonna go down to media day. I guess next weekend, the 19th, and we'll talk to Mason Garcia there. We'll play that on the podcast.
Yeah.
All right. Let's do Gardner Webb first. Okay. We're gonna go out of order here, but Gardner Webb. Looking at their schedule this year, I mean, that's not the right schedule. Okay.
Yep, I saw the same thing. That's all good.
Intern chance.
We live with
all right. Their 2023 schedule for Gardner Webb, they went, let's see, how'd they do last year? I know they played in the FCS playoffs, finished 7-6. They start the season off at then they play Elon, then they go on the road again, play at Tennessee State, then they come into Greenville, play at East Carolina. I think they start maybe 1-3.
You didn't start 1-3.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't even know. Maybe beat Elon.
Yeah, I was gonna say App's probably gonna be a loss. I do think they lose to Elon. I mean, Elon's never like a slouch in football. Tennessee State, I don't know too much about Tennessee State, but I think that'll probably be a win. And then they lose to us. So yeah, I mean 1-3.
Then I mean Robert Morris and Austin Peay. Austin Peay is a decent FCS program. UT Martin also a decent FCS program. Yep. Bryant, I believe Bryant's joining. They just announced Bryant's joining a new conference. I can't remember which one. All in all, I don't know anything about that. I'll be honest with you, Artie. I don't really follow FCS like that. We think they start 1-3. I think they lose to Austin Peay. I don't know anything about Robert Morris. Eastern Kentucky's usually pretty good.
Yeah.
UT Martin's okay. How about 6-6?
You did they go 6-6?
Yeah, I'll give them 6-6. Okay.
Yeah, I mean that's that's pretty chalk for a team you don't know about. So I mean I agree with you.
I really don't care.
Yeah.
All right. Rice. All right, Rice went 5-8 last year, 3-5 in Conference USA. Lost 4. Their wins included McNeese State, Louisiana, which bottom tier Conference USA team, beating a mid-tier Sun Belt team, but the Sun Belt's apparently better than the American. They beat UAB last year and nearly beat Houston, nearly beat Florida Atlantic, barely beat Louisiana Tech, got blown out by Charlotte, beat UTEP, lost to Western Kentucky, got blown out by UTSA, and then got beat by North Texas in another close one. And then even though they were 5-7, they got into a bowl game and lost to Southern Miss by 2 touchdowns.
Absolutely absurd.
So
I hate that so much.
What are you gonna do about it?
Are you looking at their 2023 schedule though?
They're not yet. I don't have it pulled up here. Let me.
Jared, it's awful. It's awful.
In a good way or a bad way?
In a bad way. Like their 2023 schedule. I mean, I see maybe 4 wins on here. Maybe.
This season at Texas. What? They'll take Texas to the brink. Watch them.
Stop that. Stop
just watch
that.
them. Just watch them. Artie, just
Stop.
watch them. There's got to be one every year. There's got to
stop.
I'm not saying they win, but watch them keep it a close game.
They're not taking Texas to the brink. Not at Darrell K. Royal. They're not taking Texas to the brink. They're not.
Then you got Houston, which I mean they're both in Houston. It's a home game, but is it really a home game? Even though Houston doesn't really have many fans, anyways. Then you got Texas Southern. Then you go on the road to USF. So
maybe
they're what? 1-2 after 3 games, 2-2. Maybe after 4 games, at best 2-2. At worst, probably 1-3, 0-4.
At best 2-2.
Then they come into East, and then they host us. ECU goes into Houston. That's a dub. Sorry about it. That's a dub.
Yeah.
Host UConn. UConn's not a pushover.
They're not. That's what I'm saying. You like they're going to lose to UConn. They're going to lose. I'm calling it right now. Rice is going to lose to UConn.
All right. So at best, right now they're what 2-3.
Yeah.
No.
2-4.
2-4. Now I can't count. They got the off week. Then they got Tulsa, which Tulsa's. Don't sleep on Tulsa this year. You got Tulsa. All right. 2-5.
And then you got 3 straight losses.
Tulane, SMU, UTSA, 2-8.
Straight losses.
On the road at Charlotte.
Their schedule's brutal. They're going to lose a lot of football games. They're going to lose a lot.
They got blown out by Charlotte last year, so give me Charlotte.
And then you finish with Florida Atlantic.
All right, so 2-10.
I'll give them 3. I'll give them
3-9.
3-9. I'll give them 3-9, but they're going to lose a lot of football games. That schedule is brutal.
Yeah, and I mean, Artie, they're just looking at them. I mean, they're not really returning much on offense. Now they do have quarterback JT Daniels. Is their quarterback this year?
Man, he's still playing football?
Yeah, he's a grad transfer. Artie, can you name all the schools that JT Daniels has gone to off the top of your head?
All I know is he started at USC, right? That's the only thing I know. He started in Southern Cal, and it went shit from there. I didn't even know he was still playing football.
Southern Cal, went to Georgia, transferred to West Virginia. And now he's at Rice. He played in 3 of the 5 Power 5 conferences.
You see the decline? Look at the decline. You started SC. That doesn't work. Then you go to Georgia thinking that's going to work. Doesn't work there. Then you go down to West Virginia. Doesn't work there. Now you're at lowly Rice. Like, nah, it's just at some point in your mind, and this is no shot, but at some point you gotta be like, quarterback's not it. I'm probably not that good. Like, I'm probably just not that good at quarterback.
Their offensive line isn't that great. Defense wasn't terrible last year. 5th overall in Conference USA. But when they got torched, they really got torched. Run defense was spotty. Pass rush wasn't great. And they didn't get enough 3rd down stops. Here's maybe the one silver lining for Rice. They've got a decent linebacking core. Myron Morrison is a big safety-sized tackler. Chris Conti also led the team, or almost led the team in stops last year. And then Josh Piercy has all-star potential in his pass rushing role, but that'll be the strength of the defense is the linebacking core. They're going to need more from their pass rushers, but overall, they turned the ball over quite a bit last year. They gave it up already. Their turnover ratio, they were -14. They turned over the ball 32 times last year. 32. So
32 turnovers.
The team was 2-8 when throwing at least one pick.
Jared, you only played 12 games. You only played 12 games. 32 turnovers. Oh, my God.
So, yeah.
They're going to lose a lot of games.
So, yeah. Okay. Artie. You ever walk the plank? It's hate week. We didn't mention it. It's hate week. I got a lot to talk about. And I'm not going to talk about all of it. I'm just going to run through them because I hate a lot of stuff this week.
Yeah, look, if we're just running through our things that we hate, and I know I don't have the laundry list that you do because I didn't even think about everything. And I'm going to think about stuff after the podcast and be like, damn, I should have mentioned that. I do hate the whole Big Two conference thing. I just and I'm a Big Ten homer, right? I'm a Michigan fan. I'm a Big Ten homer. Grew up watching Big Ten football, but the whole SEC, Big Ten, and then it's just everybody else. I absolutely hate that the trend that's going to. I absolutely agree with Granddaddy Nick Saban that the traditions of college football is gone. Some of the pageantry and passion of it is gone. It looks like we're just money grabbing and money chasing at this point. Sure, is it going to be nice to see Oklahoma visit Death Valley? In Baton Rouge on a Saturday night, yeah, it's gonna be fun. Sure, is it gonna, be nice to see Texas visit Alabama, in Tuscaloosa on a Saturday night? Yeah, that's gonna be fun. But getting away from the traditions that made college football so great, I hate that, and I hate that we're probably never gonna see those traditions ever again. And then honestly, like the USC, UCLA to the Big Ten, I don't know, it just feels wrong to me. It does. USC and UCLA, even though it's gonna hype the Big Ten up, is going to make them a great grand conference, and Washington and Oregon join too. I don't know.
Imagine waking up and having to watch UCLA Rutgers.
Thank you. UCLA is at Rutgers. That feels wrong. It feels odd. Feels awkward. Doesn't feel like a football game. It feels like you're
Washington at Maryland.
Yeah, I don't want to see that. Like, I don't want to see Oregon at Maryland. I don't want to see Rutgers at Washington. You're forcing that on me. I don't want to see that. I don't care about
now,
that.
Like a Nebraska-Oregon game.
That's going to be cool, right? USC visiting the Horseshoe in Columbus. That's going to be cool. We're going to watch that. It's going to be awesome. But some of the old school traditions that are going away, I hate that shit. So that's definitely.
Can we just agree that we should just make the Pac-12's demise? We should just make the Rose Bowl the Big Ten championship game.
I'd love that. In my honest opinion, the national championship, in my honest opinion, should be played in the Rose Bowl every year. That's just how I feel. I feel like the Natty should be played in the Rose Bowl every single year. There's not a better setting for a national championship. I don't give a damn what you think. There's not a better setting. You cannot name me a stadium that's a better setting, Jared. You can't. You can't name one that's a better setting for a national championship than Rose Bowl in Pasadena, California. You can't name one. You can't. Thank you. You're taking too long to answer because you don't have one. It's the best place to play a national championship.
They should play the national championship in Hawaii. At 2 a.m.
Miss me with all these SEC schools playing in the damn Mercedes-Benz Stadium every year for a national championship, and it's just a home game for Alabama or Georgia. Miss me with that bullshit. Put it back in the Rose Bowl, all right? That's all I'm saying. But I hate that too. What else is on my list? I'm trying to think of something else.
All right, I'm just going to go through it.
Go ahead.
Orioles suspended their play-by-play voice, Kevin Brown, for calling out their team for piss-poor performance against the Rays in Tropicana Park. He was just stating facts. He was doing his damn job, and he suspended the guy.
Oh, I saw that. Yeah, that's crazy.
What are you doing? That's his job. Sorry you sucked at Tropicana Field. And he's just saying you've done better this year. Congratulations. Anyone bitching about the Power 4 conferences rating the Pac-12 when they were quiet about the American Athletic Conference getting rated and even praised it, you can walk the damn plank. I hate you. Stuart Mandel, we offered you to come on the podcast and debate us. Chip Kelly said that we should just divide the FBS conference or FBS football into two conferences or two divisions, the Power 5 and the Group of 5, and each have something to play for. Stuart Mandel said this is a great thing. Other college football pundits said, oh, we agree. This is great. No, shut the fuck up. You're wrong. You are wrong. Okay?
If we have the same funding, maybe it's a good idea. Give us the same money.
But there's already two divisions in football, in college football, the FBS and FCS. And every once in a while, an FCS team beats an FBS team. It happens quite frequently when a Group of 5 conference beats a Power 5 conference. All right? Sorry. You missed me with that. SMU was willing to play in the American or in the ACC for free, but still got turned down. It's like a friend who nobody wants to hang out with because they're weird, but they try to convince people that they're cool by flashing their money.
That is crackhead mentality if I've ever seen it. Desperate.
I mean, they had a donor who said, we'll pay the $200 million over the next 5 years to get into the ACC, and the ACC still turned them down. I've already talked about this. USF fans, they're delusional. They've taken over the top spot for Central Florida. If they think that they should be invited into the ACC before East Carolina. Sorry. Talked about preseason rankings. Oh, and Governor Cooper, you can walk the damn plank. Governor Cooper tweeted out support for Tez Walker. Tez Walker wasn't granted his waiver by the NCAA. It was his second transfer into Carolina. He was like, I think, the number 6 transfer in the country this year. Wasn't granted his waiver. Cam Hayes is still waiting on a waiver for his transfer into ECU basketball. And I don't see Governor Cooper tweeting anything about that. So when you do, then we can talk. But Governor Cooper walked the damn plank. That's all I have. Artie, real quick. Do you have anything else?
I got one more. Then I'm done because I did just see this video the other day. So and this is one that hits close to home. So all the ECU linemen out there, they got stuck on that damn elevator. Did you see that? The ECU offensive linemen, they got stuck on the elevator.
I did not.
You didn't see the video? I'll send you the video. I think it happened yesterday. Ashley sent me the video, and it was like 7 to 8 ECU linemen. I think a few coaches on this elevator. They got stuck. I think during practice or when they were coming from practice. Y'all know damn well you cannot put 6 to 7 to 8, 350 to 375 pound men on one elevator. Y'all knew better than that. Y'all knew y'all was gonna get stuck. Walk the damn plane. It was like 8 of them that came out. Y'all tell it was just big ass colossal men. Like y'all knew y'all was gonna get stuck. Don't do that.
Yeah, I mean, every time we come down from the press box after a game, there's 15 people in there. I'm always like, we're gonna get stuck.
It was funny. It made my day.
Anyways, Artie, one quick note. If you're watching on YouTube, you see it scrolling at the bottom of the screen. I want to give a shout out or let everybody know that's listening. We're gonna do something new starting going forward. All right. Look, we want to do different things. You can now leave us a voicemail. All right. All you gotta do is call 252-320-9937. So leave us a voicemail. We'll play your audio on the Boneyard Podcast that week. So if you have a thought on the game, send it to us in the voicemail. We'll play your audio. If you have questions, send it in. We'll play your audio. Yeah, I think that's something that we want to try. And here soon, I mean, maybe we'll even be able to. We're gonna start doing some live shows.
Yeah.
And I think this is the season we do it, Artie. We've been talking about it. I think this is the season. Thursday nights, probably about 7:30. We're gonna be your show. Wednesday night, Thursday night, to get you ready for ECU football. All right. Anything else, Artie?
No, that's it. Great episode, hour and a half on the docket. Love it.
All right. Well, let's get out of here. We'll talk to y'all next week, Pirate Nation. Artie.
Hey, as always, baby, wash your hands, wash your butts. We love you. Deuce.
Chance, this is going to be way better than yours. Peace.